everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Business Power Hour with Darren, Dimples, and the Music Man. Me. Hey, Dimps.
Hey, Mr. Music Man. How you doing this evening?
What's going on?
How are you?
Well, good. What's it? Two ladies. This is just a story. These two ladies at a network meeting came over to me, and he said, your show was really good, but we missed Dimples. Good evening, everybody. I just got the finger from Jim. It's all part of the story.
Right.
Hey everybody, it's Darren from the Business Power Hour. I'm not going to be in the studio tonight. I'm traveling.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, except Darren's not here.
I'm here.
No,
I'm
you're
right
not
here.
Does anybody see that? Darren is not here. Darren is away.
I am right here, right
Be quiet
next
for
to
a
you.
second. You're not here. What? I don't know if you got lucky.
Not the really interesting question.
That's a fantastic question, Norman.
Wow. See, I got a fantastic. You just got good. I got fantastic.
Show's about him, so let's focus on him.
We are.
Were you drinking before the show?
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
There we go. We got it.
It's good.
No, it's
Now we got it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
smother it.
So, I think you got some music thing.
It's making noise.
It's making music.
Is it?
Yeah. That's so sweet. That's so sweet of you, Darren.
By the way, this is a Yankee station.
It's a
Thank
Yankee
you.
station. John,
Thank you.
it's a Yankee station.
All right.
Unfortunately,
We got bugs in here. What's going on?
I don't know.
Do you spray? Get
You
an
know what?
exterminator?
It's that time of year where you're getting bugs and stuff. As long as we don't have bees, I'm good.
Yeah, all right. That's.
But
We have a lot of undulations out in the field. Undulations.
Is that a wine?
no,
What the hell is undulation?
Fred, don't use big words. Hey, right? So this.
Help.
I gotta give him a cough button, Jim. What do you think?
Cough
Because-
button would be a good idea. Consider that a good question that he asked?
Break has a lot of
There you go. I got
Pythons and brains.
Yeah, I got
undulations.
Is that a wine? Double dip. What the hell is undulation?
Show's about him, so let's focus on him.
Hey, give me some loving.
How are you, Music Man?
Hello, Darren. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
I'm
this week.
absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that
telling
you
you.
got some kind of brain damage when you had that thing last year.
I'm telling you, and he called.
Not classy, but classy.
Seeing interviews by Darren and the Music Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Siafe and Norman Wasserman.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren, Dimples, and the Music Man.
Good
Are you
evening,
there?
Music Man.
Darren Dimples, are you in there?
I am here, sir.
Oh, there you are. Now I see you.
Now you see me?
What's up? Now you should put a tie on with that T-shirt. That look nice.
It's a sweater. It's not a t-shirt.
Oh, okay. It looks like a T-shirt from here.
Uh,
How was your week? How was your week?
Busy. Running. You know,
What time of year?
that time of year, and you know, PPP and the new code, you know,
And
COVID stuff
ABC and
going
DEF. and-
all this stuff going on, which is why I'm so happy we have this guest tonight.
We'll take some of the stress off of you tonight.
No,
People can ask him the questions.
you're gonna ask him any question he wants because he's
He
an
like,
expert
and
what
he
does.
knows what he's talking about, and he likes to talk. And
He
he's
likes
been
to
a guest 3 or 4 times before. This is his time of year as it is yours.
It comes on every year at this time, and like you said in the pre-show, almost to the exact day. So
Almost to the exact day.
you know. And here's the thing: one of the things I realized, I watched last couple of weeks show, and I realized how much I talk and dominate the conversation. So tonight I'm going to sit back,
All right, so it'll never happen.
and we're going to let you take charge. So
No, I don't know
sit back.
nothing about our subject tonight. You know it all. You
Come
know it
on,
all.
you
And
can
by the
do
way,
that.
how'd you like the show? I heard you watched the show. I got a message
well,
from you.
yeah, you saw I was putting these. You wore your coat, thank God.
I wore the jacket, so no
Wore
one
the
would yell at
jacket.
me.
That's a trademark. You can't do a show without a jacket.
Yeah, but I gained like 15 pounds since this COVID stuff, and then nothing fits. So
I was gonna say you're looking a little heavy, so you gotta.
yeah, okay, a little portly, as they say, in the clothing business.
Great show though. Great show.
It was nice.
Suzanne can sing. Holy cow.
Everybody said that she's like a mirror image.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I was going to put a couple
maybe
of
next-
comments in there, but I was like, I didn't want to make it nervous.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's a great segue. No, it's not really.
No.
Into what our guest is all about. So why don't we welcome, because we already used up 5-6 minutes of his hour.
Right.
Let's welcome David Korcz, Master CPA. Hey, David.
Hey guys, thanks for having me tonight.
Hey,
Good to
Nice
see
to
you.
be had.
Good to see you. Can't wait till we can do this with the three of us live in the studio. This is
I
a
know.
different way to do it.
we're coming close.
coming close.
I have a new office space and I'm building out a new studio. So hopefully that'll be done soon.
That'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be great for us to get back in the
Been,
studio.
it's just been so crazy in terms of trying to see people this last 9 months or so.
It's brutal. I'm at a point where I get stir crazy. So,
So David, we've been asking everybody this question that's been on over the course of the year. Fortunately for you, January when you were on last, COVID really wasn't here. It was here, but it wasn't here.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on with that last year. It was probably just starting to get their first cases when I was on.
Right. How has COVID affected you and your clients? I mean, there's a whole.
It's it's been interesting. Normally I've got 6 or 7 folks here in the office. You've been here, Norm. We got 6 or 7 folks that work real hard with me. I sent the vast majority of them home middle of March, and I said I'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks. Who knew it was going to be almost a year? Now I've had them back on a staggered basis, but I haven't had a steady crew here in the office with 3 or 4 folks working together since March, which has been kind of a challenge. Just was working most of the afternoon today. We were getting set up to work remotely. Working with my software provider so that we can, so that my team can work remotely in the event that we have another shutdown. That was its own challenge. In terms of clients, I probably know 80 to 90 people who've tested positive, probably 10 to 12 who've been hospitalized, and 4 who unfortunately passed from this. And people, you say, they must have had comorbidities. 2 of them had comorbidities. 2 of them was out of left field. And, that hits you hard when it's people. One of them was a client for 20 years. One of them was on a board of a charity with me about 10, 12 years ago. One of them was an attorney that my wife knew. But, we're trying to sterilize our office in between appointments and make sure that it's safe for our team and for our clients to come through here. We're going to be putting one of our admins on the phone with the clients probably the last 2 weeks of this month to communicate with our clients and say, how do you want to interact with us this tax season? We've got a secure portal for folks that have scanners that can copy and upload all their information to us, and we can communicate with them through a quick Zoom call like this, 15 minutes. Here's how your numbers are, and do a tax interview over a Zoom as opposed to over the phone.
Are you going to allow people to?
your mic went down. I don't know what happened, Norm.
My mic or Norm's?
Norm, I can barely hear you. David, I hear you fine.
You don't hear me?
Again, it's I don't know what
You're
it
live,
is.
Norm, yeah.
It's almost every show that happens
This
with
is the
Norm.
only show or whatever that.
And I don't have control over it, so it's not me.
No, Darren, you're coming through fine. Norm is a little
Yeah.
light on the volume.
Yeah.
Here we go. Is this better?
No,
No,
better.
Oh, yeah. This is better.
no,
That's what I said. No.
no.
No? Not good still?
All right, so David, you're putting these protocols into place so when people come into your office, which it's becoming more commonplace. When you walk into offices, you got all the precautions there. The office space we moved into, we're in a building where we share with a physical therapist and an acupuncturist, and there's a common bathroom on the floor, which we all take turns sterilizing during the day.
Sure.
As people are going in and out of it. But at our front desk, we have masks, we have,
Yeah, we've got a
all of that
mask
stuff.
we've got a mask mandate because my office is in my home.
Right.
So if people are bringing this, they're bringing it to my house. So,
Right.
you know, there's a big sign on the front door, no mask, no entrance, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've got hand sterilizer, and in between appointments, we're going to be sterilizing the handrails.
Right.
We did just add a bathroom down here off of my office for the staff and for the clients. This way,
Mhm.
if somebody needs to use the restroom, they don't have to go up into the living space. You know, they have to
Right.
come through the living space for about 15 seconds to get down here to the office. But we're trying to minimize the interaction with the rest of the family.
So are you going to see, well, you already said, you think you're going to have a big shift in visits as compared to Zoom interviews?
I think we're going to have now. Normally, we would have 300 to 400 people coming through my house during a standard tax season.
Mhm.
I think we'll probably cut that in half this year. There are still some folks that want that face to face. They want that FaceTime with me. You know, Norm loves that FaceTime. He comes every year, but we sit across the desk from each other. We wear a mask. I've got an air ionizer going that takes all the viruses out of the air. We're doing the best we can around protocols to keep everybody safe and healthy. You know, the last thing I want is for my office to become a super spreader site or anything of that nature. That's why I'm hoping that the government gives us that extra 90 days. I haven't said if they're going to or not.
Right.
It'd be great if they would give us the automatic to July and let us know in January or February rather than March 18th.
Yeah.
So that people can plan. You know.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful from that perspective if they would give us the notice so that we can plan for our overtime, for our staffing needs, and to keep people safe. Because if you push things back 90 days, that's 90 days more of our client base is getting vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to stop the spread. Because I work with a lot of seniors. You know.
Right.
And you know we've also got we've also got a drop box on the garage for folks that don't want to do the face to face. They can drop the stuff in the garage. We into a box. We Lysol the box, leave it in front of an air ionizer for 24 hours before we touch the papers in there. You know, so we're trying to offer them a million different ways for them to communicate with us.
Right.
We've got the secure portal, which is obviously the preferred method. You know, upload the things through a secure portal, and we can have a Zoom call to review things. You know,
yeah, you're gonna yeah, and if you, especially if you have a good amount of older people, you're not going to get them. They don't want to do the technology thing. They don't trust.
They don't want to do the technology thing, but at the same token, they're not necessarily comfortable going out either.
Right. Exactly.
It's a mixed bag, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I still do 2 house calls a year, but what's that?
Can you hear me now or no?
I hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Tell us, why the heck did you become an accountant?
I've always had an affinity for numbers, and I like saving people money. You know, I like to make a difference for folks. There's so much confusion out there around the tax laws, and so much, you know, bowling alley advice, and so many people doing a genuinely bad job out there. You know, not necessarily. You know, usually if you see the letter CPA after somebody's name, they're doing a quality job. It's when you go to some of these fly-by-night places where you see things that'll absolutely blow your mind. I mean, this will be my 34th tax season, so I'm doing this for a little while, and I'll see something to shock me every year. Every year I'll see something like, what planet was this on?
Mm-hmm.
I've had about 2 or 3 of those the last couple months.
Is there anything special this year that's happened tax-wise?
A couple new things on the form to mention this year. Even if you're not itemizing for federal purposes, they're still allowing you to take a limited charitable deduction for your cash contributions. They've got a box right on the front of the form for that. One of the other pieces of information that we're going to need from everyone this year is how much stimulus money did you get on stimulus round 1? Because the stimulus technically was an advance credit on your 2020 income tax refund. So they were giving people their refund early with the stimulus, and you need to have those numbers when you go to your tax preparer. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to properly prepare your return.
Hasn't there been some conversation, though, of somehow not debiting people for the amount of money that they've got to pass it through?
Well, you're talking more about the PPP stuff and the forgiveness there and not taxing that. They've kept going back and forth on that. Latest I've heard is that they're going to allow the double dip. They're going to not tax you on that income, and they're going to allow you to write off those expenses.
Good.
You know, and right now, from my conversations, I probably talk to 2 or 3 different bankers a week. A lot of the major banks are still revising their forms for the latest guidance from the SBA around forgiveness. I probably get 3 or 4 calls a day. When can we do my forgiveness application? Right now, I'm telling folks to wait until they come out with the next round of paperwork. We're going to get everybody done on the next round of paperwork where they're really trying to streamline the forgiveness process. You know, most of my folks got under the $150,000 mark, you know, where you got a lot of folks who got $20, $30, $40,000, and that's all going to be forgiven, which is phenomenal.
Are you finding a lot of your clients are going to be eligible for the second round of PPP?
Not as many, not as many. You know, I've actually had a couple clients call and ask, and I said, well, actually, your business did better.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what, are you kidding? It doesn't feel like it.
Sure.
I said, no, your business did better. And, you know, they're putting different strings on round 2. You have to be able to show from your numbers that a given calendar quarter is down 25% from the same calendar quarter last year. So you have to take a look at, add up your 3 months bank statements in January, February, March of 20, compare it to January, February, March of 19. And if you're down 25%, you'll qualify. If you're not down, you know, and you can do that with any individual quarter. And if one quarter is down 25%, you can say that your business was harmed by COVID, and that'll qualify you for round 2 of the PPP, which I think once again is going to be around 2.5 months of your payroll costs.
Weren't most people hurt with COVID financially in the second quarter versus the first?
Yeah, well, I'm saying any quarter, it's not just the first quarter, Norm. So you could add up second quarter of 19 versus second quarter of 20, third quarter of 19 versus third quarter of 20, and fourth quarter. If you have any one quarter that's down, you're going to qualify.
I have one client that overall they did better than 2019, but that second quarter they meet the qualifications.
And so they're going to apply for it, of course. You know, and then there was a lot of confusion around the economic injury disaster loans. Everybody's got the acronym EIDL. I acquired a couple of clients after they received the money, and one of the guys said, well, I want to buy another business. And I said, well, has the SBA signed off on that yet? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, did you read the loan documents you signed? You got 150 grand. He said, no, I can do whatever I want. I said, no, you can't do whatever you want. Go read the fine print on your loan. If you took over 25 grand, the SBA, wonderful that they gave these low interest rate 30-year payback loans, but you need their approval to do certain transactions once you borrowed more than $25,000 under that program, which is why I advised a lot of my clients, it's wonderful, it's cheap money, but understand you're taking on a new partner in your business if you go over that $25,000 until you pay it back. They were looking for specific collateral, they were looking for personal guarantees, and their approval on major decisions. Now, how closely they're going to monitor that, I don't know. But, you know, I would never advise anyone to do something where it says in a loan document you need their approval without getting their approval first, because those kinds of things tend to come back and bite you, you know.
Well, what I'm getting now, I'm getting a lot of clients who took the EIDL with requests for minutes from the SBA saying that the loan was approved.
Yep.
You know, as well as certificates of insurance on their assets.
Yep. If you took over the 25 grand, you know, one of my attorney clients said he's getting 3 or 4 requests a week to just draft up the board minutes to authorize the borrowing of those funds. You know, and there's an SBA form on the SBA website you can download, and the client can fill it in themselves. But when it's a legal document, have a lawyer look at it, because you're personally guaranteeing these things when you took over 25 grand. So. You know, get yourself covered, get your ducks in a row, so that you can sleep at night and not have a surprise.
Okay, so with this new round, one of the things that came out of it was, because when it first came out, it was like basically they said, okay, it's going to be free money. Then they came back and they changed it and said, well, it's not totally going to be free money. You're going to have to, deduct the expenses off of your P&L. And that was, the IRS came out with that at the beginning of December and said, you're going to have to deduct whatever you got in PPP. And then this new law came back and they reversed that, right?
to really give the small business people a benefit, which was the intent.
Which is
I
really
think
what
that was the congressional intent, and the IRS is going according to the Internal Revenue Code intent.
Yeah.
Which would be you can't have a double dip, but I think it was Congress's opinion that we should have a double dip.
Well, and that's what the confusing part is. And this is what I tell my clients too, is let's just wait until everything settles out before you do anything, because we don't know. We don't know what they're going to require, what they're not going to require. And like you said earlier, David, let's give them as little as we have to in order to get what we need, as far as paperwork and stuff like that. Because now they're saying even the loans $50,000 or less,
You're just going to be able to sign off on I attest to the fact that I used this for what I said I used it for.
Right, exactly. And it'd be forgiven.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wonderful,
So here's one of the things we always talk about. And I want to ask you your opinion on what's going on with the baseball season. I know you're a big baseball fan. It's obvious.
In the background, huh?
Right, your background. That's Wembley Stadium, right? When you went to.
Yeah, that's Queen Elizabeth Stadium for when I went to Yankees Red Sox last year. Yeah.
Right, when the Yankees and the Red Sox played over in England.
In 19, yeah.
We are a Yankee station.
I know. I saw that during the promo.
That's right. We are a Yankee station.
What's your opinion on, they just came out and they said they want to play 162 games. We're going to do spring training the same way. What do you think's going to happen with that, David?
I think it will be great if it could happen. I think we might be a year from that. I think we'll get more than a 60 or an 80 game season like we had this year. I think they'll probably push the gut feel says it's going to come down to the statistics and the math and the science. Will they probably push spring training a month and maybe go with a 140 game season? That wouldn't shock me.
What may shock you is that supposedly today LeMahieu had serious conversations with the Mets.
Doesn't surprise me.
Oh, it has to surprise you. Do you think the Mets would want to have a guy like LeMahieu?
Of course they would.
Of course they would.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
And you already got in the door. You're trying to make a back page splash.
Right. I also heard he's having serious conversations with the White Sox too. But it's free agency. That's what they do.
Absolutely. Right? And the Yankees have gotten more budget conscious the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have to tie him up anyway.
They got to sign the Judge in a year or two.
Mm.
Okay, I'm hoping we get a season. I was thinking about doing that Field of Dreams game that got canceled in Iowa this past summer. I was on a list for tickets for that, which was going to be Yankees White Sox. I was going to drive cross country and go.
Are they still doing Yankee Fantasy Camp?
I'm not sure if they are during a pandemic or not.
Well, I don't, just generally speaking, before.
Oh, I would think so. Yeah.
That's something that you would love.
I'd get a kick out of that, yeah.
And take it from someone that was there. You would absolutely love it.
That's right. You got your thumb broken by Bucky
Dent.
Yeah,
by Bucky Dent.
That's what happens when you pitch and you hit him in the head,
Threw me a damn fastball.
Well, you were catching, right?
I was.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I almost hit in the head was Mickey Mantle's son, Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
I almost clobbered him, and I got Mickey Rivers to foul out.
There you go.
Mick the Quick.
True
story. Mick the Quick.
I've met him once or twice at some autograph shows over the years. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's really a nice guy. The one that was the biggest SOB in that whole group when I was down there was Whitey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
everybody
said that.
was so nice.
And Whitey wasn't?
Nice. No, he was, a little too much business for a vacation. You know what I mean? You're down there for a vacation and to have fun.
Never met him to say one way or the other.
No rules. Forget the rules. Rules are, if someone's going to get hurt, that's one thing. But let everybody enjoy themselves, so whatever. But when we have a Mickey Mantle, a Yankee night, I'll tell you some Mickey Mantle stories.
Absolutely. We got to get me on for that one. I never met him, but I've probably got 3 or 4 of his autographs in a collection here.
Well, I have balls from him. You know that he only signed his baseball in a certain spot every time he signed the ball.
He signs on a sweet spot.
There's a lot of sweet spots, but he had this one particular spot
Mm-hmm.
that was on the right in between the stitching, that way he would sign a ball, and that's one of the ways that you know if it's legitimate or it's not.
Well, his is one of the most counterfeited signatures out there. Him and DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Very heavily counterfeited.
You were born in Brooklyn, right?
I was.
How come not a Dodger or a Giant fan?
They were gone before I was born.
All right, so we got a question, David.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but we got a guy whose son worked and filed his taxes, but did not get a stimulus check.
What year are we talking about where he worked and filed his taxes?
He filed them in 19.
Did mom and dad claim him on 19?
I believe they did.
Too bad.
And I know what the
if
answer is.
If mom and dad claimed him, he's not going to get it. But theoretically, he should get a credit when he files his 2020 return if he claims himself.
Yeah, but mom and dad's not going to do that because he's still in school. Mom and dad's going to claim him again.
He's not going to get one.
Because mom and dad are cheap. You know what I'm talking about.
I was going to say, should I guess?
Well, tell him to come here. We'll take a look at it and look through what are your clients there.
Well,
Tell him. No, it's not a client of.
He's a Jersey guy, so you don't trust me. You don't want to get into his mess.
Well, one of those messes.
One of those messes.
I got a tax guy in Jersey. If they want somebody more local, let me know.
So yes. you grew up in Brooklyn.
You grew up in Brooklyn, yeah.
You then went to school. If we remember.
Wait a second. He didn't grow up in the Bronx and went to the same school that you went to?
No, this is one.
Like every other guest we have on here, David, grew up in the Bronx and went to the
or
same.
Or their
high
father
school.
has gone to the
So
same.
where did you go in the Bronx, Norm?
Clinton.
Clinton. Okay, yeah, I'm a Stuyvesant kid.
You were smart.
Once upon a time.
Stuyvesant, you had to take the test to go to Stuyvesant. You had to take the test
yeah.
to go to Bronx High School of Science. Boys and girls, yada yada.
Brooklyn Tech. I mean, the big three when I was coming out of high school was Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, and Brooklyn Tech.
So Clinton was just like the leftover school? If you couldn't get into those other ones, that you went to Clinton?
Let's just say it like this: Bronx High School of Science probably had about 300 or maybe 500 students.
Okay.
David Clinton had 6,800 students
Yeah.
from all the boroughs. We didn't have the best of the best, but
now they had what they called specialized
people.
high schools back then, and they were the best of the best. I always tell people that was my Ivy League education. Went to school with a lot of folks that went Ivy League, but I ended up going to state school. Best thing I ever did.
Going to Stuyvesant was huge. When people found it was like the Yankees.
It was the Yankees of high schools.
It was a big name. Big name.
Yeah, a lot of famous folks went through there over the years.
What made you go? You also moved up to Albany. Why'd you go to Albany?
Went to college there for accounting. Was looking for a bunch of different places, but that enabled me at 16 to move out of my parents' house for school, and was close enough. It was a 3-hour bus ride, so I could get home if I wanted to, but I didn't go home all that often. Enjoyed going away. Met my wife my sophomore year there, and she was a freshman. She was a freshman there, and we ended up getting married right after I graduated. I graduated in May. We got married in June, and then she was a year behind me, and she did the law school thing. So we ended up staying in the area for a while. Worked for 3 different CPA firms up there from 87 to 95. One of them was a top 25 firm, and then a couple of smaller regional firms. One of them specialized, the last one I was with for 5 years, they specialized in small not-for-profits, beer distributors, and car dealers. And we were looking to get back here closer to family because my in-laws are in Queens. My family was still in Brooklyn. Looking to get back closer to family in 95. An opportunity came for me to go work as an assistant controller of a company in the South Bronx called Manhattan Beer Distributors. You've probably seen their trucks all up and down the expressway. So I was the number 2 guy in their finance area for 5 years. And then I went to go be number 1, a CFO of a mattress manufacturer, a bedspread and drapery manufacturer, brother-sister companies in Glendale, Queens for several years. Then I was with a tool distributor in College Point for 4 years, all the while growing his tax practice on the side. It just kept growing and growing and growing. Then I was CFO of a tech company from 2011 to 2013, which was related to the mattress manufacturer. We ended up selling that company in 13 and bringing private equity in on a technology company. The technology company decided to replace the entire management team back in 14. So there I was at 47 years old. And I said, I've got this tax practice. I'm doing about 250 returns of people that I can see on evenings and on weekends. Let me see if I can take this and go full time with it. You know, do I go make another family successful and allow them an exit? Or do I take this tax practice I've been building for the last 25 years and do something with it? And we took the leap of faith in 2014 and haven't looked back. The best thing we ever did.
You had a major acquisition too. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, February of 18, so almost 3 years ago. Was at a networking lunch at Mario's up in Setauket, and the financial advisor in the group came to me and he said, Dave, my client got this letter. And the letter said that the preparer had had a stroke and wasn't going to be doing returns anymore and wasn't recommending anyone. And I said to the financial advisor, well, obviously I can take your client, I'll assist them, but who's helping this preparer? And he reached out and put me in touch with the preparer's office manager, who was basically going to be the beneficiary of his estate. Because it turned out that the fella had not had a stroke. He was in hospice with about 2 weeks to live. So, and she and I ended up coming to an understanding, and she put me in touch with, we sent out a letter to 768 clients. And then I'm sure you guys know Gwen from Business Solutions by Gwen. I put her on the phone for about a week. In late February of 2018, she made 768 phone calls and converted about 240 of them into brand spanking new clients for me. Which, if you guys know about marketing, that's a pretty darn good conversion rate.
She's the perfect person to put on a phone to do that.
Yep.
We lost you again, Norm. You get quiet again.
He heard me.
So, I don't know what you're doing, but you know what we're gonna do right now? We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back right after these messages.
Hey everybody, it's Norman from Friend Entertainment USA and Virtual Tribute Concerts. I got some breaking news. If I sound a little bit excited, it's because I am. And you can see I'm wearing one of my nice glitter jackets for on stage. And the reason why I'm wearing this jacket is because the Cure, the Friend Entertainment Fundraising Cure, it's official, it's live, it's well. We lived through it, we got it going. Concerts all over the country, concerts all over the world. Virtual concerts from Friend Entertainment USA and Virtual Tribute Concerts. We are there. Our next show is coming up. Neil Diamond going to be in a couple of weeks. Tune in, Friend Entertainment USA, 631-698-9696. If you are a charity, if you are a not-for-profit organization, you haven't done fundraising in 6-7 months, I got you. We got this done. I can do it for you. How do I know? We found a solution. I just got finished doing 2 very successful shows. And our next one, as I mentioned to you, is Neil Diamond in just a couple of weeks. So again, Friend Entertainment USA, 631-698-9696. I look forward to speaking to you. Have a good day.
Small business owners, are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel like daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
I got you.
I got you. You gotta update that now because you got a lot more than just 2 successful shows.
So you know what we have to do, what I have to do.
You got to yell because we can barely hear you.
Yeah,
I
you're
have
still a
to
little
bring
soft.
the person in that did your advertising and also did my video advertising, and we should put them on the show. What a good idea. How about next week?
Yeah, next week. We'll have him on next week.
Next week.
You know?
And then we can get David to do a commercial for his accounting firm.
Stranger
There you
things
go.
have happened. We finally got a website this past year.
Did?
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Well, that's awesome. So you got a website, David. What's your website?
www.davidkorcz.com. Korcz is spelled
Original.
Korcz.
How original.
I know.
So if you want to reach out to David, you need some tax advice, you need some help, you can go to his website and check him out. Or is there a number they can call, David?
Sure. 631-582-1416. Once again, that's 631-582-1416.
All right. So reach out today. David can answer any of your tax issues and questions and help you out. And even if you have a tax problem, David is a master at solving those problems and working with the IRS to get rid of that old tax debt that, you know, how often, David, do you bring on a new client and they come to you and they go, I haven't filed taxes in like 6 years?
We handle probably at least one of those cases a quarter where we're cleaning up somebody for significant years. I'm working on one right now where we got to get 17, 18, 19 done for somebody. Had a big one about a month and a half ago. We cleaned up 8 years of corporate returns for someone, and another one that recently wrapped up with 5 years of personal returns for somebody. So yeah, we do a lot of helping people get caught back up and compliant. Bottom line is the government's not going to give you an installment payment arrangement if you're not compliant.
Mhm.
You know, and it's better to get compliant, you know, get all your back returns filed, figure out what the number is that you owe, and then get into a payment plan. If you've fallen upon hard times, you have a special circumstance, sometimes we can settle it for a lot less than a payment plan. You know, if you don't have steady, continuous, and ongoing income. We've gotten folks settled for 7 cents on a dollar, 9 cents on a dollar, 14 cents on a dollar on some significant money. But there you need to show that you've had some kind of tragedy in your life. I had one fellow where a spouse had walked out on him, and then he got a $14,000 bill from the IRS. We've had one where a construction company was basically wiped out by Hurricane Sandy, and he was underinsured. So it wasn't like he was getting the IRS could say, well, you were insured for all that loss. No, he wasn't insured for what he lost. And he ended up borrowing the settlement funds from a family member and settling a $223,000 tax debt for $20,000. You know, every case is different. You know, what a lot of those ads on the TV won't tell you is that when you settle those, you have to be a good citizen for the next 5 years. You have to file your returns on time, pay your taxes when they're due. Otherwise, they can void that agreement. Like that one gentleman that I saved the $203,000 we were just talking about. He was great for the first 4 years. Year 5, he owed $18,000, filed, only sent in a check with 6. And thank goodness the IRS still had me down as his power of attorney. So I get a phone call. You know, hi, Mr. Korcz, this is Officer so-and-so of the Internal Revenue. We're calling you still power of attorney for your client. I said, yeah, what's going on? Well, he owed $18,000. He only sent 6. And I said, so you're giving me a courtesy call to see what we can do so you don't have to pull the deal off the table. Because what happens is they'll pull that deal back off the table plus another 4.5 years worth of interest and penalties on $200,000 if he didn't get that money in relatively quickly. So I said, how long does my client have to cure this issue? And they said, well, he's got 60 days. And I called my client up and I said, I don't care if you have to go to a loan shark on a corner and borrow at 100% interest. It's only $12,000. Find it somewhere. Throw it on a credit card. Do whatever you have to do because interest on $12,000 is a lot less than $200,000 plus 4 years of interest. It's like, how long do I have? And I told him a little white lie and said, get it in there in 30 days. Because I knew he was going to procrastinate till the last possible second. And I didn't want the IRS wheels to start turning and kicking out scary love letters, you know?
Yeah, that's a scary thing, and this is whenever you tell. I hate to say it. Whenever you tell a client the truth about how much time they got, that's not good for us.
Well, I knew that this gentleman was a procrastinator, and I knew if I told him 60 days, he was going to be 61 or 62 days, and we were going to have a problem.
Right.
So, and I knew he could throw it on a credit card or get the money in there somehow. And I called the IRS on like day 37, and the money had gotten in there. We just had a scary one for a brand new client about 6 weeks ago. I was out at a networking function on a Friday night, and a brand new client texts me and says, I just got this notice in the mail. I'm going to be sick. And the guy texted me over an IRS notice for $599,000 for his 2018 return, which is not a return that I did. I did his 2019 return, because the first thing when somebody says I got this horrible notice is, okay, did I do the return? Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't do this one. Good. And then you read the notice and you realize what happened. And I said to the guy, well, did you sell your house? And he said, yeah, I sold my house. And I said, well, it wasn't on your 18 return. No. Well, how much did you sell your house for? About $1.3 million. Nice house. And how long were you in the house? I was only in the house for about a year. Okay. And how much did you pay for the house? About $1.3 million. So I said, by the time you're done with commissions, you actually lost $30,000 or $40,000 at the end of the day, balancing out all the numbers. And he said, yeah. So I said, I'm going to do a letter for you. You'll send it to the IRS certified mail, and you got a scary notice for $600,000, but you don't owe a penny of it. And those are nights where you feel good. You're like, okay, yeah, great. Put this to bed,
That's
you know?
a good story.
But, you know.
But there are a lot of stories like that, Norm, because a lot of people, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier, David, about the bowling alley stories. You know, you're bowling with somebody and they say, oh, you don't have to worry about that. My friend, it's always my friend experienced that, and this is the way they handled it. So you don't have to listen to anybody. You can just do it this way.
There's too much bowling alley advice out there in the tax universe. Now, this fella here hadn't told his prior CPA that he had sold the house. And normally on a primary residence, you, as a married couple, which he was, you don't have to pay tax on the first $500,000 of gain anyway. Mm-hmm. But the IRS had no, all the IRS knew was that he sold the house because there was a Form 1099-S as in Sam filed. Now, I don't know, in your experience, Darren, with doing taxes, you don't see them all that often. You don't see the 1099-S all that often. You know, I see maybe 3 a year. Most times on real estate transactions, they're not filed. Yeah. So, you know, the real estate attorneys aren't doing their piece in getting those filed with the IRS. So a lot of real estate transactions fly under the radar. So he may not have even known that his real estate attorney did the 1099-S, or he misplaced it when he was sending it to his tax guy. Because, you know, his former accountant I happen to know, and he does a diligent job also. So it wasn't a quality control issue on his side. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just interesting, you know. In my experience,
you know what I found? But David, that goes back to the interviewing process. And I'm
Absolutely.
sure your interviewing process is a lot like mine. Is you go through all of those questions, whether you've had clients for years and years and years, you still ask all of those questions. Did you sell any?
You got to have that communication every year, even if it's 15 minutes.
Yep.
When I bought that fella's practice, I would say it was what I would call Ivory Snow pure. Out of the 300 or so returns that we've gotten so far, because we did get a couple in year 2 and a couple more this year. I only found problems on 2 of them out of 300. And one of them was because he didn't take the meeting every year. He had a drop-off box in his house, and the guy had been a client for 15 years with this preparer. And the first year I'm doing it, he's got a dependent on the return. It's the same age as him with a different last name. And the dependent type says other. It doesn't say sister. It doesn't say brother. It doesn't say cousin. It says other. So I call the guy up and I'm like, who's Marilyn? Oh, she's my wife. Then why is she a dependent? Why are you doing head of household and not married filing joint? I don't know. That's how he's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how many years have you guys been married? That's 7. So I was able to go back and fix it for him for a 3-year amendment. But, you know, we couldn't go back past the 3rd year.
Right.
But just for changing filing status for 3 years, I think we got him back $13,000-$14,000 of money just for amending there.
Well, and that's the thing too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, and it goes to what you were saying earlier, who they're not paying attention to what's going on, and I took one on last year. Couple, they've been married about 5 years. They were going to a place in Jamaica, Queens, and it was one of those,
Travel agencies?
yeah, basically, because he worked close to the place, and so it was one of the places, but they were filing separate returns
For a married couple.
for married. They were married.
Both of them has had a household.
No, he wasn't head of household. They were filing him single. They were filing her head of household. Her address was her mother's address. His address was their address.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, she also had a business, like a home type of business.
Mm-hmm.
They told her it needed to be a partnership. So you see what's going on, right?
Oh, yeah.
What they were doing, they were just splitting it up so they could charge her more money.
Of
Because
course.
now you got you got 3 different returns that got to be filed, and all
Yeah,
these
they was
other
getting
extras.
$1,500 for doing $200 worth of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and I
that
sat
plus
there
that
and
plus cheating, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm like,
but-
this is wrong, completely wrong. So that's
Anyone
a
signed the
mess that
return,
we had to
right?
untangle.
The preparer didn't sign the returns?
No, prepare, sign the returns.
That's really an idiot.
Yeah.
That's frightening in and of itself.
Yeah.
I had one come to me about 3 years ago. Young lady went to the family preparer in the Bronx for years and years and years and years and years. And she, he would just say, sign here. And well, she didn't care. She got a big refund every year. Now, all of a sudden, the IRS caught on about 2.5, 3 years ago that her return from when she was about 26, 27 years old made no sense. You have a 26-year-old woman who's still claiming deductions that she's an undergraduate in college, even though she had finished 3-4 years earlier. They were taking a college credit on her. And then they made sure that she got the solar credit on the home that she didn't own because she was renting. And, I want to say that this person got her about $8,000 or $9,000 worth of credits that she was not entitled to. And then the IRS was not only coming back after her for the credits, but also for fraud penalties.
Absolutely.
Because the preparer didn't sign the return. And the challenge was we couldn't even make a case against the preparer. He had passed away. Now, we don't know if that was of natural causes or somebody that he screwed up their taxes came and did him in, and he's in cement overshoes somewhere. But, like I said, it's amazing the things you see when you do this for as many years as somebody like myself or Darren is doing them.
Mm-hmm.
You see some interesting things.
The IRS last year was kind of like not working for a major part of the year.
And it's still tough.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, what's the story now?
It's still very, very difficult to get through, even though there's a separate tax practitioner priority line that I'm probably calling 2-3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain issues that they don't handle. I had to go to a separate office within the IRS called the Taxpayer Advocate's Office. I mean, I've gone to them to help with issues 4 times in 34 years. It's rare that I have to go there. You don't want to have to do that one. But I've got a client who received a threatening letter saying we're going to start seizing assets type of scenario for 50, 60 grand. And it's for a penalty notice that he says he never received. And when I call on the regular line, they can give me a general overview as to what my client's being penalized for, but they can't give me the specifics. And my client can't locate the initial notice. So I've reached out for the advocate's office to say, hey, help me understand why you're trying to get 60 grand from this poor guy. We have a thought in our head as to what it is, but until I can't draft an appropriately crafted response without the facts,
I had a very similar situation not too long ago. And when I called the taxpayer hotline, the tax preparer hotline, I'm on the phone with this gentleman, and it was the same type of thing where he goes, I really can't tell you the specifics, but then he gave me, this guy was a nice guy, scenarios.
Yep.
In this situation, this could be the problem, and basically kind of outlined it for me as to exactly what was going on with this. So I was able to craft a response for it, and we were able to take care of it. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a lot harder to get through to them at this particular time, even for us.
It's been tougher, and there are millions of pieces of mail behind. You have some people where you mail in what's called a reasonable cause letter. Somebody has a reasonable cause for filing a return late. Their dog ate their homework or whatever reason. You're going to usually a little bit more handily crafted than that. But death of a family member, illness, there's all different reasons why someone can be late.
I have to, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig. David did a major tax situation with myself and did a great job.
Thank you.
So we're waiting for the IRS to get back to us, and they said we have to, now this is 1.5 years ago, and we have to check back into the file, give us 90 days, and we'll be back to you. So 1 year and change go by. I said, David, enough with this thing already. Can you give the IRS a call? So David calls the IRS, kind of like straightens it out. We make an agreement. I take care of the agreement. Then I get a letter that we're going to seize. Well, not that dramatic, but we're going to.
A nasty gram.
Right, just a nasty gram. And I call David. David responds right away. Then I get a letter saying that we need 90 more days
to review your response
in order to straighten out the problem in the first place that was already straightened out 1.5 years ago. And in between, I still get charged for penalties and interest.
Of course.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of these. We need more time letters.
Yep. Especially in the offer area. If somebody's trying to put an offer in compromise through.
Mm-hmm.
I had an offer in compromise that was put in August of 18. We finally got resolution in the summer of 20. It was like 1.5 years. One of the other things, one of the most challenging things we had this year with trying to get anything out of the IRS, one of my clients was selling a co-op in the city, incident to a divorce, and they had a significant tax liability. And we're talking north of $300,000.
Okay, wow.
Now, in a normal circumstance, the IRS would have sent an agent to the closing to pick up a check.
Okay.
On this thing, but trying to get a payoff letter from the IRS so that this couple could close, and their close date was between April 15th and April 27th. So here you are trying to take care of some of your extensions and trying to get a hold of the right person at the IRS to get a payoff letter for these folks. It was challenging.
In regards to the situation that David did for me, they had no records. They had no records. They couldn't find anything that they were talking about. Nothing. And I was in the office.
And you've sat in on where we're talking to them together, Norm. You could attest. You've watched me talk to them on your behalf for a couple hours at a shot.
And nobody knows. And then you have to call this one. Then you got to call this one. And then you got to call that. Nobody has any records.
Nobody. Yeah. You know what? And David, correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes our clients think we're full of crap when we say we called them and they have no idea how to resolve this problem, or we got to do this.
Of course.
So there are times where I'll do what you did with Norm. Get them on the phone with me. Here you go. Listen to what's going on. And I would hang up the phone and say, see, I'm not making this stuff up.
Yeah, we never BS. I'm always as truthful as I can be with my clients. You have to be.
You have to be. It doesn't serve us anything.
No.
You're a service business.
Exactly.
You got to, good, bad, or indifferent, you got to give service.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You can't procrastinate. It is what it is. I have a similar situation when people call. Anyway, it's almost the witching hour.
Where's
Do you have anything that you want to talk about? You're doing any Zoom seminars or anything this year? You gonna have any time to do that or whatever?
Just doing taxes the next few months. I mean, your guys is the one podcast I do every year.
Mm-hmm. How do people reach you? Let's go into that and let's give them. I'm sure.
Sure.
Darren must have it up on the screen.
Yep.
Let's give them the website.
Go right ahead.
www.davidkorcz.com, and Korcz is spelled K-O-R-C as in cat, Z as in zebra. And let's give them the email, dnakorcz@optonline.net. So once again, that's D as in David, N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, Korcz, K-O-R-C as in cat, Z as in zebra at opt, that's O-P-T, online, O-N-L-I-N-E.net. And the phone number, 631-582-1416. Once again, 631-582-1416. One of the things that we'll offer to everybody in your audience during non-busy season, we're not going to do this the next 2-3 months, but if they've had somebody else doing the return, more than happy to take a look at the last 3 years for free. You never know what we'll find on a free look. We've gotten people back. Most we've gotten anybody back is $40,000 fixing somebody else's mistakes, you feel great when you find that for someone, and it makes you wonder how much was left on the table for the years that you can't go back and fix.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I have got a new client just actually about 2 months ago, and looked at their 2019 return and was like, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, just from the basic information I got, they just filed standard deduction, and they probably have about $40,000 or $50,000 worth of
Wow.
deductions.
And then there's all the folks that don't understand the QBI deduction, which has been around for a couple of years now. A lot of the bookkeeping services don't understand the QBI.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing anything with education deductions? Loans, college loans?
They haven't announced that they're forgiving them yet. I wish. I mean, they're still deferring them for the kids. I mean, my son's has been deferred, but he's making his payments anyway.
The president-elect is pushing. The president-elect is pushing for it, but I always go back to the same thing. If you're forgiving it in one area, you got to make it up somehow.
Somebody's paying for it.
So somebody's going to pay for it, so expect our taxes to go up if all of this stuff is forgiven.
Oh, between that and paying for all the stimulus that we've received in terms of the PPP loans, the EIDL, these advance payments that all these stimulus checks that everybody's gotten, somebody's going to be paying for it.
Yep.
And it's going to be all of us with higher taxes. The taxes haven't been this low in our lifetime. We just went through a major tax overhaul in 2017, which was the biggest one since '86, right when I first got into this business. But I anticipate, I don't know if it'll be a major overhaul, but I would say some of the quote unquote Trump tax cuts are going to get repealed or restructured with a new Congress and a new Senate.
Yeah, especially now that the Democrats have control of everything, and we know how they go. They go higher taxes and more programs. So we'll see what happens. But David, really thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. As always, a great guest.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. We got to do this again next year.
Yep.
We're going to send you a YouTube. It may be a good idea to put it on your website.
Yep. What I may do is give this over to my web guys and see if they can grab some good snippets out of it.
I'll send you the last 3 years.
That'd be great.
All right. All right, David. Thanks for coming on tonight.
You guys, thanks for having guys, and I can't wait till we can meet in person and bump elbows or whatever, Yep.
Before you go, did you change your mobile number?
Nope.
All right, could you text it to me?
No, he doesn't want you to have it.
You have my mobile number. It's the same.
He does.
He says he doesn't have it, Dave. So
I'm having a problem getting.
No, you called me right before we got on.
But that was your office number.
It forwards to my cell, but I get to the cell. Not a problem.
That's all you need.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Have a good night.
Thanks for having, guys. We'll do this again soon. Look forward to seeing you guys.
Yep. Look forward to seeing you too.
Take it easy.
Another fast hour.
Every hour is fast.
Really? He's a good guest. He's talkative. He's knowledgeable. He knows his business. And you two make a nice little team there.
Well, he's he's a sharp guy. He knows his stuff. And it's always good to talk to somebody about things, common things that we experience. So
I've sat with him and watched him like it's a piece of cake. He just slices through the IRS and makes them like him, and he gets the information. And
that's the key to getting things resolved the right way and I tell people this all the time, whenever I'm trying to resolve something major, don't fight with them. If you're nice to them and you're reasonable with them, they will work with you and you'll get it done. And I've had people who are just like, no, I'm not going to give them that. You know what? Give it to them. Give them what they want if it's within reason, and they'll be more than happy to work.
Who do you think's going to win? Scream and yell at them or whatever.
That's what I tell them.
Common sense. What do you think?
They have the control. So
what do you got planned for this week? Anything coming up for you?
No, nothing major coming up. I got, we're just testing some things out in a new studio, and if hopefully within the next week or so we'll be up and running. So
good.
Maybe broadcasting from the new studio next week.
I'm looking forward to that. Our next show is coming up in February, the third week. We have Dr. K's Motown Review. He's a national Motown band, 12 pieces. Going to be a
Wow.
lot of noise in that particular room. And this week, actually yesterday, Monday, I got a phone call from a Holocaust education and history organization that has asked me to do some sort of a telethon.
Really?
A musical, like a Jerry Lewis,
Yeah.
type of thing. I said, yeah, I don't know if I'm the right guy for you to go and do that. I mean, I don't have telephone banks and I don't have all that kind of stuff, but we can sit down and figure it out. So we got that going on. We don't have a date, but we already started the wheels turning.
Good.
And I'm back with the American Legion. It's like we got a date of May 1st, and we'll be helping the American Legion nationwide.
Awesome.
Hopefully raise some money. So that's
Awesome.
cool. And that's it.
Excellent. 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 And I want to say those guys were great Saturday night.
Thank you.
It really was
Thank
a good
you.
show.
They got some great comments.
Yeah. And as you know, I was there making comments during the show. And,
Yeah, I know. I was getting those comments. Yeah.
I was trying to be nice. I was nice.
No, they were nice. No, absolutely no nice, but I have to go shopping.
Exactly. All right, my
I
friend.
gotta go shopping. All right. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week with our special guest.
Special guest, Chris Gannon from Ready Set Studios.
Get set. Get ready. Here comes Chris Gannon.
There you go. We'll see you guys next week. Everybody be safe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.